everyone go ahead and open that up. You can open it in Notability.
It's on Mitch.
Okay. Yep, it's on Mitch, but you can download it to Notability if you want.
Where is it again? Oh.
It's on the Romeo and Juliet topics page. Yeah, I didn't want to make a new topic for just the last day. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. You're gonna choose one quote, and we're gonna do what we did yesterday. Okay, but we have 3 different quotes, and once again, you're just gonna pick one, and you're gonna tell me the text that it's from. Okay, the play or epic poem or novel it's from, and the speaker. Okay, the context, so what's happening. And I know it might be a little hard to remember from the fall or the winter, but that's okay, do your best. And the most important part is tell me the significance. Okay, significance, your analysis.
What's Harris?
On which one?
The first one? It's supposed to be like.
Where? Oh, it's Harris.
Harris, okay. No, I just wasn't sure.
It's just my typo. Okay, and I'm going to read the quotes out loud before you choose. Okay? So we have, Stradlater was more of a secret slob. He always looked all right, Stradlater, but for instance, you should have seen the razor he shaved himself with. It was always rusty as hell and full of lather and hairs and crap. He never cleaned it or anything. He always looked good when he was finished fixing himself up, but he was a secret slob anyway, if you knew him the way I did. Okay, so that's our first quote. Our second quotation we have is, by a name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had it written, I would tear the word. In our third quotation, so you ask me the name I'm known by, Cyclops. I will tell you, but you must give me a guest gift, as you promised. Nobody, that's my name, nobody. So my mother and father call me, all my friends. All right, so go ahead, choose one, and you can handwrite, you can write in note form, or you can write on the Notability, text and speaker, context, significance. Okay, so take a few minutes to do that.
Are you recording this part?
Yeah, it's recording. You guys are being recorded. It's okay. I don't like being recorded. I don't like to watch myself.
Oh.
You ever seen yourself play sports?
Oh my god, don't even start.
It's terrible. I don't
I
know.
recorded a softball
Oh,
game.
she did.
And I was like,
I had to sit through a 20-minute video of myself for health class. We needed to make a video about ourselves. They made you sit in the room and watch it.
You know,
Oh my
we
god.
used to watch ourselves on film in college and basketball, and it was my least favorite thing to do. Okay, so go ahead. Take a couple minutes to write.
What's Stradlater's first name? No, I think that's his last name.
you never know.
Yeah, Stradlater is his last name. We know. It's just off the top of my head. I can't think of it now.
I can probably just look it up first.
Yeah, right. We only call him Stradlater for most of it, but we do know his first name. Old Ackley and Stradlater.
Oh. Ward.
Yes.
Sounds very.
That's a very Stradlater name. Right, what would Holden say about Stradlater? He's a phony, yeah.
I said this before, and I would like to say it again. The South Park quote about the book. Did you get any dirty parts yet? No, it's just some whiny, annoying teenager talking about how lame everything is.
Yeah. 10 is Catcher in the Rye, right?
That's the entire book. You sum the entire book in a sentence.
Well, and some people, remember we talked about this, how some of us really resonate with the book, and some people just don't like it. Some people do see it as mind teacher, and some people see it as what we're going to talk about, right? He's commenting on society, right? Yep.
For the second one with the this one, does it split? So is this one part of it? And
No.
it says nobody.
No, this is the whole, so you asked me the name of Known by Cyclops, I will tell you, but you must give me a yes gift, which you promised. Nobody. So then, this is the speaker talking, I know, you know who the speaker is, right? It's Odysseus. It's him speaking, and then he just
Wait.
cuts himself off and
Oh,
says,
okay.
oh, nobody, that's my name.
Okay.
Nobody, so my mother and father. So this is one whole quote.
Alright, so sure.
He just cuts himself off and then
Okay.
tells the name. Are you done, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so how are some people still finishing up? You're done? Maybe how you doing? It's okay if you're finishing up.
Yeah.
Okay. Prashant, you finishing up? Okay. Shemaya, you're all set, okay. Have these done?
No, I think,
Can I throw those out?
that's fine.
Oh, the classroom looks so good for this video. It'll be messy at the end of the year. Okay, so I'm gonna ask everyone to finish up what they're writing. Okay, and it's okay if you're not done. You can still add a point if you haven't written it yet. And let's look at this first quote. We have, and I bet you guys all know what book this is from, because we have that clue right at the beginning. Stradlater was more of a secret slob. He always looked all right, Stradlater, but for instance, you should have seen the razor he shaved himself with. It was always rusty as hell and full of lather and hairs and crap. He never cleaned it or anything. He always looked good when he was finished fixing himself up, but he was a secret slob anyway if you knew him the way I did. Who would like to tell me, did anyone pick this quote? Okay, so Louisa, what text is this from?
Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye. And who's speaking?
Holden.
Holden, our protagonist. And what significance did you find in this quotation?
It kinda, in a way, he was kind of like exposing Stradlater, trying to say like, oh, like he seems like he gets all the girls, and he's very like handsome and like clean cut, but he's actually like a slob, like gross, and kind of showing the other side of Stradlater.
Good. So would you say that Holden would say Stradlater appears one way, but in reality, he is actually the opposite?
Yeah.
Okay, he's commenting on how one can appear one way and act another. Good. Does anyone have any other significance they want to add to the scene, or can tell me the context of what was happening? So I'm gonna go ask Shemaya first. You want to go ahead?
What I felt was the context was one time when Stradlater acts and he's distracted, and he's like, he's a secret slob, and I don't want to give it to him because he may do something with my jacket. And he stole my jacket, I really like or I like that jacket. And I felt the significance of the quote was that it shows that how Holden is, how he observes people. And it also ties into why he's kind of good at English, because he can like look and observe and analyze things.
Good. Good. And Phoebe, what were you gonna add?
I kind of just added about like really his whole staying phonies and stuff.
Good.
He really hated it, and like this was just one more reason that Stradlater was phony. He looked one way but acted the complete other, and like people didn't know about it, but Holden did, and it was just one more thing that bothered him.
One more thing that bothered him. So, getting on to Phoebe's point of phonies. According to Holden, is Stradlater a phony?
Yes.
Okay. And why? If we take this quote as a definition of a phony, right? That the definition of a phony is being like Stradlater. It's being a secret slob. It's making yourself appear one way and acting in another way. What then can we say, if we can pinpoint, what is a phony, according to Holden? And why is Stradlater a phony? What is a phony, Shemaya?
A phony is someone who hides their real habits.
Okay, so hides real habits. Okay, and in a way, could you say they hide their real self?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. This is good because I want to keep this definition of phony, okay, in this quote in our minds, okay, because we're going to look at the other characters in the other texts we've read this year, and we're going to maybe see a little bit if anyone else is a phony. Like going back to Catcher in the Rye, who else fits this definition according to Holden of phonies? Remember any other characters in the book who were phonies? Prashant? His brother. And why was his brother a phony? Yeah, he writes books.
His older brother.
His older brother, not Al, you're right, his older brother. And Prashant, expand, he writes books, but what does he do now? Holden liked that he writes books, but what does he do?
Is he like a director? No, he writes movies.
Yeah, he writes movies, right? And why does Holden think that's phoniness? Is he writing to be a good writer, or is he writing to make money?
To make money.
Right, so what do you call someone like that? What's the term?
Oh, like a sellout?
Yeah, right, he's a sellout. Who else in Catcher in the Rye is a phony? There's a lot of them.
There's his headmaster.
But I heard headmaster, Sally. Right, the headmaster who, when he sees the wealthy parents and the attractive parents, he goes and talks to them. But when he sees the parents that maybe are a little, as Holden calls it, funny looking, or maybe they're not as affluent, maybe their kids are on scholarship, he ignores them, right? He'll smile and shake their hands, but then as soon as it's time to talk to people, he ignores them, right? He acts like he cares, but he doesn't really, unless you're important in his mind, right? And Sally who dresses up a certain way, and she will say that she wants to date Holden, that she believes in certain things, but in reality, right, she just wants to do exactly what her parents and Holden's parents do, right? She wants to get married, and then Holden gets a job, and they live in New York City, and they do the same thing everyone else does, right? So to him, Sally is phony. So I'm going to move to the next quote, okay? And I want to keep this idea of phoniness in mind. And did anyone do the second quote? By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had it written, I would tear the word. Did anyone choose this quotation? And if you didn't, Dan didn't. Great. So Dan, what text is this from that we read?
The Odyssey.
The Odyssey, okay.
And Odysseus.
So, by a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself. You're close. I can see why the two, one's an epic poem, right, and one's in verse. It's a play, so it's easy to confuse them. But this one's actually Romeo and Juliet.
Oh.
That's okay. That's all right. But what did you give the significance of it though? Because I bet you still have good significance.
I thought it was I imagined the scene where Odysseus was giving the Cyclops his fake name.
Yeah, that's actually a good scene, and that's almost why I chose this quotation, because the third quotation is actually that scene, and I could see him saying this well, and that's good because we're going to compare the two, so that's actually, I like that you made that mistake.
I'll just wait till the next one then.
Do you want to wait till the next one to give your significance? Okay. So let's read this again. By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I written it, I would tear the word. Okay. So we know it's Romeo and Juliet. Who's speaking?
Juliet. I think it's Juliet.
By a name I not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself. It's not really clear. You kind of just have to remember.
Yeah.
I think
Right?
it's Romeo.
It is Romeo, right? But I could see why you think it's Juliet, because both of them, right? Both of their names are enemy, right? Capulet is enemy to Montague. Montague is enemy to Capulet. So it's not clear. Okay, but this one you just have to remember. But it is Romeo. And what's the context? What's happening here?
It's like, I think when he goes outside her window on the balcony, and she's talking about her name, she's like, your name's not my enemy, and he's like, well, I hate my name, I wish I didn't have it.
Good. And why does he hate his name?
Because of like, carries on, things that are not actually him, like, makes him feel, like, to the Capulets, just by him having the last name Montague makes him as if he's a bad person, he's not really.
Good.
And also his last name is keeping him away from Juliet.
Good. Right? So his name is a barrier. Right? We talked about what's in a name. Right? A name can stop you from doing something. But are you necessarily your name?
No.
Right? Or your label that's put on you? Right? Can you escape it? In this play, are the two main characters able to escape their names ultimately? No. Do their families escape their names?
Eventually.
At the end, somewhat.
Eventually at the end somewhat? But what does it take to them to escape their names?
Their love
Their
to
children
die.
Yeah, for their loves to die. Okay. So what is it? So the significance, we're already getting into the significance. Anyone else want to add to the significance of this quotation?
By the name.
Yep.
He did something really bad, and he probably can't even bear to have people mention his name.
So this one, we're still in the Romeo and Juliet. That's okay. But he's telling Juliet that he hates his name because it's an enemy to Juliet.
I could add to this and make it mine.
Okay.
He wishes. Well, I think they both wish that not just change names, just get rid of names. Period.
Good. Good. Right? So that they don't keep them apart. Good, Dan. Okay, so let's look at this final last quote.
What I wonder how you do that. You'd probably be, hey, I'm home.
Okay, so our last quotation, Dan, I'm going to come back to you on this one because this is exactly what you were talking about with the Cyclops. Okay, so you asked me the name I'm known by, Cyclops. I will tell you, but you must give me a guest gift as you promised. Nobody. That's my name, nobody. So my mother and father call me all my friends. Okay, so we know what is this from?
This is from when Odysseus and his crew walk into the Cyclops cave.
Okay, good. And the context, and why is he telling him his name is nobody? What is he ultimately doing to him?
So when he calls for help, because like who's here, he'll be like, nobody, no one's here. And I'll be like, you know what, okay, I'll go back to sleep.
Good. Okay, and somebody want to give me the significance? What do you have as the significance of this quote, Dan?
Odysseus is trying to outsmart the Cyclops by faking his name. It shows Odysseus thinks of good ideas and plans when things are really going down. He needs to be smart, tactical.
Good, right? He's a tactical leader. Okay, and does he always tell the truth?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, is the truth important to Odysseus all the time?
No.
Right? And that goes back to him being tactical.
And like over our guy, I think George Clooney is like Odysseus in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Good, right? His character, right, is the one that's supposed to be the Odysseus leader, right? And he lies too. What is one of the lies he tells him? Oh brother, where art thou?
There's no money.
Right, there's no money.
How was this supposed to get paroled?
Yeah. Right? And he doesn't care. He doesn't tell them that there's no money, even though that they're about to be paroled and that they would go back to jail for basically their whole lives if they get caught, which they do.
You thought I turned into a frog.
So, going back to these quotations, okay, and going back to this idea of phoniness, can you see a comparison that we can make between these quotations? And to jog your minds, okay, I want you to think about, are these characters, are any of these characters phonies? Yep.
This is a thing we leave in 2 minutes.
We leave in 2 minutes?
Yeah.
It's okay, we'll finish in 2 minutes. I'll let you go and I'll give you the donuts. Not that I bribed you, right, for this video?
Oh,
Okay.
a comparison. Maybe not really well.
Yeah, so comparison, what can you make a comparison for all three of them? And I want you to think about this while you're making this comparison between these two quotations. Would Holden Okay, or do you guys think, using Holden's definition of a phony, right, being someone that hides their real self, are these characters, is Odysseus, is Romeo, are they phonies?
I don't know, I feel like they just each go through journeys and they try to find themselves.
I don't think Romeo's not as much of a phony as Odysseus.
Why is Odysseus a phony in your
Because he
opinion?
kind of like doesn't. I guess he doesn't trust his crew in some way because he like doesn't tell them anything. Like at first, he acts in the first quote. He was talking about house gifts and how he'll tell the Cyclops his name if he gets house gifts first. But then I guess he switches and thinks of a plan and he tells him that his name's Nobody. So I guess his main goal is to go for house gifts.
Good,
So
good, right, so his main goal is for house gifts, he's hiding his true intentions, also he's literally lying, right, he's telling that his name is Nobody,
yeah.
right? And what is Romeo saying about his name? Does he want to keep his name?
No. Just
No, so we have these characters, right, that switch around their names. Sometimes they're one person, sometimes they're another person. And what would Holden maybe say about that? And maybe you don't agree,
It's kind of funny.
right? You're not giving your true self all the time. Now, but how about Holden? Some of you argued in your papers in the beginning of the year that he was a phony. Do you think Holden's
He
a
lied
phony?
about
Or do
his
you think-
name.
Yeah, where does he lie about his name?
On the train.
Yep, on the train. Who does he tell, who does he say he is?
One of his classmates.
He says
Yeah.
the janitor.
Yeah, he says he's the janitor at the school. And he makes up this whole story. What else does he tell her about why he's
And he has
Her son is great.
Yeah, her
He had
son's
like
great.
brain
and he's
cancer or
really
something like that.
He had brain cancer. He's going to get a surgery for brain cancer. Right.
I like one something in the morning.
Wait, what was her name? Miss Morrow.
Miss Morrow. Mrs. Morrow.
Ed.
Yep.
Ed.
His son Ed.
And
Ed
it's just
Morrow.
like,
Yeah, Ed.
with Holden, I feel like he doesn't like himself very much because he knows he's phony. And that's why he doesn't like phonies so much. And he's trying to repair himself. That's probably why he lies so much also.
Good. And if we think about it too, all these characters you could argue are phony in some sense, but are they doing it for a reason?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So why does Romeo want to get rid of his name?
So we could
So he's
stay
So-
in love.
Yeah, so he can be in love. Why is Odysseus lying?
To live.
To live and to save his crew,
Yeah.
right?
Really does not.
And why does Holden lie sometimes? And Shemai, you're just getting at this.
I
He just
think
lies because he probably doesn't like himself very much.
he's too depressed to kind of.
So they need to sometimes lie on their way to their journey, okay? So I'm gonna let you guys, everybody take donuts.
I appreciate it, but no thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, you don't have to take donuts.
Alright, thank you, this has been a great class, you've been good.
Yes,
good
thank you.
Well,
teacher.
thank you, Dan. Okay, and I will see you tomorrow. If you still have things to hand in, I'll be in office hours. I'll come collect it from you.
If I don't see you tomorrow or next week, have a good summer.
Oh, thank you, Dan. You have a good